Hi, my name is Rene. In this video, I'm going to talk about the merger with the light, the merger, the becoming one with the light, as explained in testimonies by near-death experiences, and also I'm drawing parallels to what we find in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And everything I'm talking about is going to be from my book, Awakening Afterlife, which is available on Amazon if you want to know more after. And basically, what's important to understand with the near-death experience, of course, every experience is subjective, but when we look at the studies, at the research, we do find that there is light. There's the light, as it's referred to in the near-death experience. And of course, naturally, having known a little bit knowledge about the Tibetan Book of the Dead, we know that in the Buddhist terminology, there's something called the clear light. So already here, there seems to be a very natural connection. Of course, it's not everybody. In Buddhism, to become enlightened, you have to become one with the light. That's how you return to your true nature in a way. And it's true, if we look at the research of near-death experience, we find that, for instance, Dr. Peter Fenwick explains from his research that some people see the light as a point of no return. You look at it from a distance, and people have a feeling that if they were to enter this light, that would be the point of no return, meaning they would not come back, and it would no longer be a near-death experience. It would be a real death experience. They would not return. But still, while some see the light as a point of no return, he also explains that others feel that they directly merge and become one with the light. And also, if we look at another researcher, Margaret Gray, she found in one of her studies, she found that just over 20% had a sensation, a feeling of oneness with the light. And so I'm basing my question and my investigation on this, and it's also based on my own personal experience. In my own near-death experience, I felt first a merger, a oneness with the light, and then as I was going through my life review, I definitely felt I was outside the light. I was in a way distant from it. But then when my life review was over, and I returned to this feeling of love and as my true nature, I felt the oneness again. So in my personal experience, I have the direct experience of being in the light and being outside the light. I have what Dr. Peter Fenwick talks about from both views in a way, and that really makes me able to study it from the inside, you could say, which is what I do in the book. So what people explain, and there are testimonies also where people say, for instance, there's one quote here. One person testifies that, quote, "I was the light and one with it." And that's really the experience that we do find in the near-death experience. And that's why it really connects us to the Tibetan Book of the Dead, where we have the clear light and we have this merger with this clear light. And just to explain about the two lights, in the near-death experience, what we call the light, which is generally the experience, or it could be like, instead of using the word heaven, people call it the light in a way. And the way people explain in the near-death experience, they explain this light is that it is either white or clear. But when we say white, we should remember people also describe it as being unearthly. So it's not like any kind of light we know here on earth, because we're in another dimension. So a good way to explain it, which is general to the near-death experiencers, is that it is an indescribable brilliance this light has. It's a very different quality, but it's a brilliance that doesn't hurt your eyes in a way. It's simply another kind of light than what we can imagine here. So if we look at the Tibetan Book of the Dead to draw a parallel, then I will just read a quote on the description of the clear light. This is from the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It says, the subtlest light that illuminates the profoundest reality of the universe. It is an inconceivable light, beyond the duality of bright and dark, a light of self-luminosity of all things. Hence, transparency is a good rendering, as it is clear light, as long as clear is understood as transparent and not as bright. So it's a very different light than what we know here. Then if we study the Tibetan Book of the Dead, how the merger with this light happens, how this is actually experienced, then I will just read here. This is from the Bardo Guidebook to the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It teaches us that our mind within the physical body, this is before we leave the body, is like the space within a jar. At the moment when we die and leave the body, quote, the jar breaks, the space within and without merge. Consciousness merges with the primordial pure nature, the ground luminosity. And this ground luminosity is the light, which is the true nature of reality. The ground luminosity is the true nature of reality expressed through the clear light. In the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the true nature of the mind is the true nature of reality. This absolute nature of our mind is empty, and this emptiness is in fact the light. Quote, inseparable from emptiness is the luminosity, the presence of what is real. And that is really the description of what the clear light is. It is the ultimate reality, the true nature of the universe. And in the same way, we find in the near-death experience that we have in the Tibetan Book that we have this true nature of enlightenment. It is enlightenment. It is all knowledge of the universe. It is total enlightenment. And this we also find a parallel to in the near-death research. Here Peter Fenwick, he says that often people have a feeling of profound knowledge and a realization that they have been given the answers to all the secrets of the universe. One account describes that, quote, I understood I was born on earth and knew the answers to every mystery. And another account, quote, enlightenment is the wonder, and here I understood the universe. Also, Raymond Moody found that people got brief glimpses into a separate realm of existence in which, quote, all knowledge, whether of past, present, or future, seemed to coexist in a sort of timeless state. And this was experienced as a moment of enlightenment with complete knowledge. So this is really the connection that we have between the merger, which does not happen to all near-death experience, but which happens to a lot, and it is also my personal experience. Some people have this experience of merging with the light, and the connection to this experience is really very similar to what we find in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And that's one reason why I am investigating this subject, the parallels, because from studying actual testimonies of real accounts of people who have these encounters in the near-death experience, we can then learn more from drawing parallels to the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And that's really what I do in the book, my book, Awakening Afterlife. Looks like this, and it's available on Amazon. And I also encourage you to do your own research or look at some of my other videos. I wish you good luck on your path.